What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Most Cost Show. Right. In the next 2 months, we have called this a very special 2 months. It is award season. So now, since it's award season, this is a new series we're going to do every year now. So, usually the Oscars come up usually next year. So this is when they usually bring out the best Oscar films. So we have got two best Oscar award probably nominees coming up right now. Starting with Blitz. This is episode 1 and it's called Blitz. This takes place in World War II, literally. In my honest opinion, this is one of the most... it's very hard to say really because it's quite hard to explain. It takes place in London because when we're at war with Germany, all Germany were trying to do was trying to destroy our beautiful country. But like, in honesty, this shows how bad it was. Like, the Blitz was one of the most bloodiest things in World War history, and let me tell you, it was horrific. But this story takes place in that time and that year. And let me tell you here and now, these two people I'm about to say right now absolutely smashed it in this film. I'm talking about Elliot Huffman and Saoirse Ronan, who played Rita and George. Now let's start with George. This kid who plays George is absolutely fantastic. He smashed this out the window completely. And let me tell you here and now, we're going to hear this name for quite a while, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets snapped up for another thing like this. Because I thought, in honesty, he was absolutely fantastic. Like, a little bit on the story. Takes place in London. Rita and George. Rita is a, unfortunately, single mother who, unfortunately, the husband of George, unfortunately, got deported. Back in those days, racism was an absolute cluster. It was ridiculous. And the harsh racism I saw in this film shows, still to this day, it is still there and it should never be in our society at all. And that's my opinion on that. But back onto the film though. Rita had to send George to the countryside due to the war. George and her had a fight. And let me tell you, it did not end well. But this is when George had the plan. He was an hour into his journey trying to get into the countryside. He jumped off the plane. He jumped off the train. Sorry, not plane. Train. And he decided, I'm not going to stop. I want to get back to my mum at home. And let me tell you here and now, he encountered a lot of tasks along the way. He snuck on to another train which is heading back to London. He even made friends along the way. But unfortunately, those friends do come with consequences. Once he was on that train heading back to London, they stopped at a station. Him and two of his other friends were found. When they were trying to cross the tracks, one of the boys unfortunately got hit by the train. And honestly, once that happened, I said to myself, "Oh my god!" And that was mental in my head. It was mental. But back in London, though, Saoirse Ronan Rita, who's played by Rita, she was working in a bomb steel factory in London, trying to manufacture bombs for the army for the war. And also, she also had a scene which she had to sing for the BBC and put morale up for the men. And let me tell you, once that song came on, she smashed it. That voice was perfect to the tooth. Perfect to the tooth. Perfect. But she found out that he jumped off the train and she quit her job. And she would not stop until she found her son, which to me is absolutely masterpiece of that, in my honest opinion. But back onto George's journey, he lost a friend. Then he got onto a bus. They got into a town somewhere on the outskirts of London. they met a nice, lovely Nigerian man who was working for the British people back in the time, and his name was Alfie. And let me tell you, Alfie, in honesty, they were trying to make it as nice as possible. He was like one of the nicest people in the film, literally. Like when there was a bomb alarm went off, he was backing up an Indian man, and he made a speech about Hitler not liking Jews and all that, and he wanted to eliminate all of them, literally. And so he made a speech and all that. And once I heard that speech, that is absolutely incredible. It is insane that his acting was absolutely on point for that speech. Unfortunately, he came out and done his runs, but he did not come back. He wanted to help a woman to get out of the house, but she didn't want to leave. Unfortunately, he went to the house, and unfortunately, a bomb got hit on it. And unfortunately, Alfie sadly passed. Then, last bit for George, well, second to last bit of George, he was captured by a smuggling ring who was trying to smuggle stuff outside of, like, destroyed buildings to make profits. He managed to escape, but literally, he was absolutely scared and terrified. I can tell it by the boy's acting. And then the last bit. He was hiding in a London underground on the outskirts of London near where he lived. There was a bomb which hit a burst water main. And let me tell you, the water main was flooding the underground. Everyone tried to get out. George trying to get under the gate, which was so small he could only get through. He saved thousands of people that day. And that's fantastic. He ended up at a random woman's house. She called the police and they said, "Nope, I'm getting out of here and see my mum." Once he got back to his home, unfortunately, a bomb landed on the house. Unfortunately, the granddad did not make it. He was played by Bulwer Gerald, amazing Irish songwriter. But his character, he did not make it, and unfortunately, the boy was sad. But there was a piece to it, though. He found his mum. They shared a moment, and let me tell you, that moment to me was an absolute godsend, and I loved that about that. But yeah, I just love when it like went back and back to where they were, and it showed the damage of what the bombs done and what this World War done to this country, and it's mental. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here, guys. Time for a rating. And I'm going to give this an 8. This film was absolutely mental. It was amazing. The cinematography was amazing. The music was by Hans Zimmer, one of our legendary producers of our time, who I think, next to John Williams and Danny Elfman, naming those names is mental. But this is why I love reward season. This is what we love to see. Films which give everything, literally. And I can't wait to show these videos with you guys and see. Like, we've got Wicked coming out. We've got Gladiators coming out. Literally. And we've also got other films coming out, which are probably not going to win awards, but which I think are going to be insane. But yeah, guys. I'm going to give this a rating. Let's give this an 8. This still shows of how great these kind of films are and why they should still be made, to show where we are now to before we were. And I give this credit. Is this gonna win a Oscar for Best Picture? No, we've got so many films at the moment coming out, which, naming a few: Dune 2, Part 2, Wicked, we've got Gladiator, and also we've got another film which we're going to be talking about, which is going to be probably a very close nomination, or maybe a very near winner to being Best Picture, but it's going to be close. But yeah, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Please like, subscribe, and also, guys, it's award season, so I'll see you guys on the next episode of the award season